This is SFNet Presents In the Know with host Barry Bobrow.
Hello and welcome to the special edition of In the Know, the podcast that usually talks about everything asset-based, but once a year, Valerie Mason, my good friend and fellow sports fanatic, tennis fanatic, Valerie Mason and I talk tennis. So that's what we're going to do today. Just to remind everybody, I'm Barry Bobrow. I'm with Regions Business Capital, and Valerie is a partner at Otterbourg. We are the two biggest tennis fans in the asset-based market. So today we're going to give you our take on the upcoming U.S. Open. Starts on Sunday. And I don't know what we're going to get into here. It's going to be controversial no matter what. Right, Valerie, you ready?
I hope so. I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
Okay.
The draw came out an hour ago. So
I know the draw is out. We actually have the draw. Let's talk about the mixed doubles. We haven't scripted this, so I'm going to start with something you probably won't agree with. I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting to enjoy it. I thought it was dumb. For the listeners here, I mean, the USTA decided to turn the 2-week tournament into a 3-week tournament and charge for the mixed doubles. And instead of letting the people who wanted to play mixed doubles play it, they said we're going to have 16 teams and we're going to pick the top players who never play doubles because they're focusing on winning money in singles. And we're going to put these teams together and everybody's going to want to watch it. And so they really ticked off anybody who wanted to watch mixed during the regular tournament. And they also ticked off the doubles specialists who are actually much better at doubles than the top singles players generally, not always, but generally.
You liked it. You're going to come back and watch it next year. Is that the idea?
You know, it's like 4 or 5 years ago, they switched the Davis Cup format to an in-person all in one place. And then they had to tweak the format here and there. And you know, it's better now. I didn't like it when they first came out with it. Now I think it's better. But this one, I mean, the thing about the mixed doubles is not only do people not follow it as closely because it's a bunch of names they never heard of, it's also doesn't pay very well for the players. With this, what they did was they came up with a short format, 4-game sets up until the last round. The matches were well under an hour. They were over before they started.
Some of them were.
Some of them were, yeah. But they got top players. They had Alcaraz and Sinner had to drop. Yeah, I thought it was great. And there were it turned out, maybe not what the USTA intended, but it turned out because they had some drops that they actually put a couple of doubles players back into the draw and they won it.
Right. Well, the proof is in the pudding. No, actually, you know, for people who have subscriptions, they were pretty ticked off that the USTA did this. Unlike me, there were a lot of people who look forward to mixed doubles and doubles at the US Open. And, you know, they just like to break it up and whatever. And they were pretty ticked off. But I think you're right. For the sport and people are trying to encourage people to come out and see the big stars, you won't see them like this. The matchups, you know, the teams.
That's right.
So Katie
McNally played with Musetti. That was the cutest couple ever to play on a mixed doubles court. They were having a good time with it. They lost.
Yeah. Next year, they'll mic them up. No doubt.
I think they will.
And so you can hear everything. And maybe they'll practice for more than 5 minutes.
But I thought the final, I stayed up till midnight last night. That final between Swiatek playing with Ruud, two people who you would never see on a doubles court, turned out both of them are better than you would expect doubles players against the team that won it last year, Irani and Vavasori, the Italian team.
Yeah. They're just incredible doubles players. I mean, I didn't watch it, but my friend Michelle, who you know, watched it, and she just said the quote unquote Italian guy was amazing. And
it was interesting to watch these top singles players, Ruud, trying to figure out what to do with a 65 mile an hour Irani serve, and they did not do well with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this just shows you it is a completely different game. And so for a top singles player, you want to play doubles to improve your volley. But if you're not interested in that, you know, look, maybe it's better to do it this way because people drop out during the tournament if they're a good singles player and they're advancing. There is the idea that, you know, some people, even though they don't make as much money as the singles players, do depend on this money for
this was $1 million prize. That was last year for winning it. They split $200,000. So good payday for them. I would guess that what the USTA does or should do anyway next year is to include more doubles teams. And so it becomes more of a matchup of the good doubles players against the well-known singles players. You get the best of both and you get to see who can actually play doubles as well as singles. It's on the men's
or
side, you never see
they can set it up like Labor Cup too. They can do like a little round robin or something, and then
round robin would be fun too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good for tennis. It's fan week. There looked like there were tons of people, and as long as you don't make it more than it really is, it's entertainment. That's what it's designed to do, and it's designed to encourage more interest in tennis.
Yeah.
So if that's the objective,
I think they're going to look back on it and say it was successful. Let's tweak it next year. That's in the past. That's all done. 2-day tournament. Let's talk about the real draw. Just for the run up here, I thought we'd spend a minute talking about. I watch. You always think of the Canadian Open and then the Cincinnati as sort of the warm ups, the run up to the U.S. and they are. But this year they turned both of them into week and a half long events, and so you had this weird spectacle of the finals in Canada being played on a Thursday night and then the finals in Cincinnati on a Monday night. It was strange.
Yeah, I mean, I had more people calling me up asking me why the tournaments were set up the way they were. I wish I knew the answer to that. It's kind of confounding, actually.
They sort of split 3 weeks between the two tournaments, and that's what they wound up with, right? It was just a weird thing. The women's side in Canada was maybe one of the best stories of the year. Victoria Maboko.
Oh, yeah, that was
18-year-old from actually born in Charlotte, playing for
take
Canada.
Credit for that.
Wins the tournament. The fans couldn't have been more positive. She played great, though.
Yeah, she deserved to win.
I mean, good players along the way.
It wasn't a fluke. I mean, if you win one round, it's a fluke. But if you keep going, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of people rushing out to see where she is. I don't know.
From my standpoint, it could be great because she will not be playing on Ash, given her seeding in the tournament. I might get to see her on Armstrong or the grandstand. So I like Maboko.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be like people to watch. It's always good to find somebody new to go out and take a look at. So, and
the other big story I think of the two run-ups was Swiatek's just playing great, and Sabalenka not so much, right? It's hard to see.
It's very interesting, right? This is usually where like Sabalenka is coming into her like prime, and Swiatek is ready for the off season. But Iga has, coming out of Wimbledon, just found her rhythm, which was. I don't know where it was, but all of a sudden she's playing inspired tennis. And when she's playing well,
it's like a one-way freight train, right? Nobody can.
I mean, look, she's very much like Rafa in a lot of ways. I know you were waiting for me to mention him.
It only took 10 minutes to get to Rafa. That's good.
But, she's very much like him. She's an emotional player. She gets down on herself and then she can play point by point. That's one of the reasons I like watching her. She's never out of a match. The Rybakina thing the other day, I mean, she's just going to keep going until she can't. And that was lost. It was lost at the French. It was lost in the beginning of the year. I'm glad to see it because you want to have a really strong, juxtaposition to
Well, it's interesting, though, because, Sabalenka is ranked number one, and she lost in the finals of Australia to an inspired match from Keys. She lost in the finals of the French to an inspired match from Coco Gauff. And she lost, I think it was semis at Wimbledon, right? She lost.
Yeah.
So she's not playing like number one right now.
Yeah, but you know what? She played the same opponent in all those matches. She played Aryna Sabalenka.
Yeah, that's true.
She can beat herself like nobody else. I mean, that Gauff match was very reminiscent of the U.S. Open when she was winning there, and then just, I don't know what happened. It's really amazing. So again, tennis is a mental game.
Yeah, I think it's a collision course between those two on the women's side, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. But, look, I'll say it again. I love Anisimova. I'm so happy to see her back. People really, don't know what she's been through, and it's just amazing. And
she got exposed as a really bad doubles player, by the way, in this mixed doubles tournament.
Yeah,
she couldn't hit a volley to save her life.
Yeah, and I think she could be interesting to watch. And
how about Paulini? How far can she get in the tournament?
She's the Energizer Bunny. She looked pretty good. That forehand just sprays all over the place. I was watching her. Well, again, I don't want to say too many bad things about Gauff. I just think, she just fired her coaches yesterday.
She did.
But, the forehand from Paulini wasn't that great, but it was making it. So she gets a little bit she hits over her shots, I think, a little overhitting when she gets excited. Yeah. So she needs to rein it in a little bit. But she's got a good, I think, hard court game. So, she's not going to beat Iga, but she could go deep.
She could go deep. Gauff is so interesting, though. I mean, she won the French, and you think, oh, God, she's finally found her rhythm. And she was playing great tennis. Her forehand didn't look so vulnerable. Her serve held up. And now since then, she's just played terribly. I mean, she could catch a tailwind and cause trouble for any of these players. She's a bad matchup for Sabalenka. And if you look at the draw, I think Swiatek plays Goff. That would be the semi if they both follow through. That's good. That's good for Sabalenka, I think.
Yeah. Well, she's a great athlete. And with her forehand and serve, I mean, the number of double faults is just out of this world. I don't even think I double faulted that much when I played college tennis. But it's sad because we're talking about the same two components of her game that we talked about 2 years ago.
That's true.
She needs to do with Sabalenka. She needs to take some time and fix it. And then she'll be winning the tournaments that everybody thinks she's supposed to be winning.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet against her, but it doesn't feel like she's in the right form right now to win the
But
US
who knows? Sometimes, with people talking trash about, I wouldn't call this trash.
That inspires her. It
inspires her to play better.
Let's go to the men's side.
Yeah, let's talk about the men.
What a disappointing final in Cincinnati. Have you got any good scouting on what happened to Sinner?
Well, all I know is on Tuesday, Alcaraz, Sinner, and Djokovic were eating dinner, lunch rather, at a restaurant right across the street from me.
That's good scouting.
I'm getting my reports from all over New York. Yeah. Unfortunately, the person told me after they were there, and I was like, wow, I was only a block away. So I would have loved to have seen that. But yeah, it's so great. It's so great. Everybody thought, oh, Rafa and Federer retiring, Djokovic. Oh, well, first of all, I have to say something nice about Djokovic. I mean, the fact he's playing so well and, in the sense of the only two people who can beat him right now are the number 1 and 2 players. It's just amazing. So I'm happy that he took the time off. I think, I'll see how he does. But
he's clearly making this U.S. Open his best last gasp, right? I mean,
and
he's saving all his energy. Yeah.
He's got a good draw. I mean, the way this looks, if everybody plays out, and Carlos makes it through the first round.
Yeah, you got to talk about that.
They'll meet in the semis on, I'm sure, the Friday night match that ESPN is already salivating over. But, it could happen.
Carlos has a terrible first round draw, right? I mean, it doesn't get worse.
The worst possible. Play Riley Opelka, who, has been injured or whatever, but no matter what, still has a serve in your first round. I mean, that's why they always say the first week is always ugly. Just get through it. So I hope that Carlos comes very serious and play because he has that tendency to want to be the showman. And, that's not the match to fool around with.
If Sinner gets over being sick, those are the two best players and they should meet in the final. There's not a lot that can beat either one of them if they're playing at their top level.
This is great. The fact that we go from like the rivalry of the big 3 or 4, depending on who you're talking to, and then go into this great rivalry of these
new two, right? The new two.
I've seen them play now. I was at that final in France, and I've seen them play a lot against each other. I mean, one of the best matches was in the, Louis Armstrong in the middle of the night a couple of years ago when they played and Sinner lost in 5. And that was sort of the bellwether of things to come, meaning that they would just be these two great foes, and yet seemingly very friendly off the court, which is great.
It is. It's a great rivalry that are clearly very good friends with each other. It's reminiscent of the Federer and Nadal. I mean, they were just such good sportsmen with each other. The Wimbledon final, which was an amazing win for Sinner, but I just remember that look on Alcaraz's face, like, I can't play my game against this guy. He's hitting it too hard. He's controlling the court. He's pushing me back, and he couldn't get past it. I mean, if Sinner is playing that level, hitting it that hard, and both of them have improved their serve quite a bit over the last year or two, so they're both becoming better spot servers. I think the edge goes to Sinner unless he's sick.
Yeah, I like him very much, so I don't want to jinx him in this, this beginning of the thing. But I think other people have said it. There are a couple of people that can beat Alcaraz. There aren't that many that can beat Sinner when he's playing well.
If Alcaraz is going to lose, it might actually be in the earlier rounds.
Right.
And if you look at that draw, it actually, I think, turns out to be really favorable to Sinner in the sense that you've got the two guys who have the best chance of beating him, Djokovic and Alcaraz, both on the other half of the draw. He has a relatively unknown first and second round draw. So if he's sick, he gets a week to feel better, and maybe catches.
I mean, it looks like projected out, his Sinner's quarterfinal guy would be Draper, and that
that's a good match.
Yeah, that'd be a great match, but Draper's got a long way to go before he gets there, and he's been a little shaky lately, and I don't know why.
Yeah. So women's side, who do you like? Who's your pick?
I'm going with Iga. I think she's in the right place. I love her game. I love her energy. I know people think that, she's not that exciting, but she's mentally tough, and that's what you need to win this game.
I do too. I think she's made some adjustments to her game that work really well on the hard court. And somehow Sabalenka just seems not quite as good as she was a year ago. And I think it's Iga. How about on the men's side? What do you think is going to happen here?
I'm just hoping that Sinner and Alcaraz get to the end and we get to see another great match. It's crazy. I mean, Sinner was on the verge of winning the French final so many times. We would be talking about a Grand Slam right now.
He had 2 match points at the French. If he had won either one of them, he would be currently the holder of 4 consecutive slams and he'd be playing for the calendar slam. You're right. He's been the dominant player. I
also, again, I have to mention this. These guys, women too, they need to be able to solve themselves out on the court. And I honestly think that's the difference between Sinner and Alcaraz. Sinner to me seems a lot more able to find solutions to different situations. And Alcaraz is constantly looking up at that box. And I think that's a negative because I think it breaks his concentration and his flow.
Yeah, I don't think this will ever change as between them. They have different styles, but Alcaraz, his top level is better than anybody, but he takes more risk in the game that he plays, right?
Yep.
The advantage is he can change the pace and speed and spin better than anybody from ball to ball. But the downside is he makes a lot of dumb errors sometimes. He gets into a dark patch.
But you know what? There's such satisfaction in hitting a low percentage shot and making it. I mean, I'm smiling because when I did play doubles, I loved the forehand down the line over the highest part of the net. And my coach used to always like, Valerie, what are you doing? And I would be like, no, I love that shot. I don't care. I only make it 1 out of 4 times, but that one time is so satisfying. And sometimes when I see him do things, I'm just like, he doesn't care. It's great though. He has the confidence that he thinks he's going to make it. And that's a great champion.
Similar to the Nadal, Federer, they both are pushing each other to add more things to their game and getting better, because if they don't, they're going to get beat consistently. And so they both have raised their game. Valerie, how do you think they compare? I mean, we got the big 3 and the new 2. Are these guys on the same level, playing wise? Would they have given a good challenge to Federer and Nadal, or do you think that they still have some room to go?
Well, I think they would give a good challenge, but I just think some of the mentality is, again, everything's different in a Grand Slam because it's 5 sets and you have to know how to pace yourself. I mean, that's where the matches are made and lost. So that's why I think the people found the French so interesting, because it had everything. It had the mental game shifted back and forth, and they were 2 young guys, totally nervous, and you saw that side of them. I think the matchups would be pretty equivalent. Again, just look at Djokovic. He's in those matches. And he is considerably older than them.
Although he hasn't been in the match against Sinner for over a year now, right?
No, but by the time he plays Sinner, his body's so beaten up.
Yeah.
I wonder. That would never happen. But if he played either Carlos or Sinner early on, when his body's not
or 2 out of 3 sets or something like that.
I mean, I hope we're taping this because no one would believe I'm saying such nice things about Djokovic. So I want to have that memorialized.
For the record,
yeah. So
Valerie, what's we got our picks here. Oh, actually, you didn't make a pick. So you're gonna take Carlos for the men's?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm a Sinner girl. I am of little Italian heritage, so I'm gonna. Even though people say, "Oh, he's not Italian, he's really, German or whatever." No, he's Italian. So
I think as long as Sinner is healthy, I think he's got the edge, and he's got a slightly better draw too. So it would be a great final to see the 2 of them on the finals.
And root for some Americans, even though they're.
Well, let's talk about Fritz. Where the top Americans would be Fritz and
Shelton.
Yep. Shelton's playing lights out. I mean, he did win Canada. Does he have a puncher's chance? Do either one of them have a puncher's chance of beating?
Well, that's how I would describe Shelton. He is a puncher. No, I don't think Fritz has a chance. Shelton is still in formation, I think. I wish I love his father. I think he's great. I wish he had a different coach, though. Maybe he would listen a little bit more if it wasn't his father telling him stuff to do.
It might be the most successful to date father-son coaching situation. I mean, there have been some bad examples, but this one seems to work.
Yeah, no,
well.
It works. Although I saw that thing with Anna Cohn was listening when they were in Canada. And I think Anna Cohn was blown away by the way that Brian was telling him, okay, go, kick it up here. Every serve was being called in from the sideline. It was like watching a football game to coach.
Well, it gets back to your problem-solving argument, right? I mean, if Ben Shelton's really going to beat these guys, he's got to do it on his own, I think.
Yeah.
Not with every
player.
But
I think he has the best potential, though, right now.
He's such a dynamic game, and he's really improved it. I mean, he beat he beat DeMonar in a close matchup in Canada by playing long rallies with him. That's a good win for him. The slice backhand is and it
shows he's got some patience. He's got some patience. So I think Fritz, Paul, a couple of rounds, but they don't have the goods.
Who's not getting anywhere? And let's think about the whole generation of where is Tsitsipas, where's Medvedev. Even DeMonar, it just feels like the time has gone past them where they can win these big tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I circled Medvedev. Well, he's on the Alcaraz side of the draw.
Yeah,
you could meet him in like the 4th round if he sticks in. He plays some of his best tennis in New York, so maybe he'll be inspired. But he has definitely been Stepford Medvedev. There's nothing there.
Zverev, same thing, right? I mean, I just don't see how they can break through at this point, as good as they are.
Yeah. Nori Korda in the 1st round for those.
That's a good match.
Rounds. Yeah.
You may have to go out and watch the 1st round.
Yeah. Who knew? Did you know that Borna Koric was going to be playing?
No.
He's playing La Hecca. It's crazy.
Koric was so good back in the day. He was a giant killer back in the day, but he's been off the list for a while. Valerie, any tips for people going out to the venue?
Wow.
Find you and sit in your seats, right? That's
I don't know. We'll see how long that lasts. Spread yourself around. Just go out as far and just don't stay in the, when you walk in, there's a lot of land there and there's a lot of things to explore. There's a lot of good tennis on the side courts. Take advantage of it and watch some people who you've never heard of up close and personal, and you'll really enjoy it. I think that, court 17 we know is great.
Court 17, if you sit on the side underneath the scoreboard, you get the shade in the morning. Now
Barry knows best. That's that's where Barry is. I did want to make a comment, though. It's so overrun right now. Like last year, the first day, 70,000 people on the grounds. For me, the grandstand, people who buy grounds passes make a big mistake. They should just go and buy a grandstand seat and
or even an inexpensive Armstrong ticket just to get into the
for
event.
The first week. Absolutely essential. And I don't know food to recommend. I'm a pretzel girl. I was sort of arguing with the premium suites people about how there's no pretzels on the courtside floor. I said,
seems like the food's gone downhill the last couple of years. I don't know. That's just not as exciting.
Maybe, but I'm telling you, having been in all 4 arenas, maybe it's just that American people like American food, but the food is still better here than at any of the other ones.
Let's close, Valerie. Let's close on this note. You called me from Australia in January, and you said I'm at the Open, and I said, "Are you doing the Calendar Slam?" And you said, "What's that?" And I had to explain that this is 4 majors in the same year, and now you're doing it.
I'm doing it. I honestly, it is referred to in my house as the Barry Slam, because you were the one, like when I told you I was going to Australia, you were like, "Oh, well, why don't you just do all 4 of them?" And I was like, "Yeah, why don't I just do all 4
why don't you
of them?"
Just do them?
So everywhere we went, it was the Barry Slam.
All right. So the food in New York is the best, you think?
The food in New York is definitely the best, even for the money. I mean,
where were the people the most accommodating? Which was your favorite venue?
I think Australia is the most accommodating. When you're in Australia, when you walk into the first floors of all the major stadiums, you feel like you're in a AMC movie theater. Like there's carpet on the floor and the concession stand, so that's kind of weird. And they have air conditioning, so that's kind of it's super hot. The cheapest seats, I have to say, and
relative, Valerie,
an excellent quality. Yeah, the airline flights is sort of the equalizer. But I have to say, by far, the noisiest is the US Open. I mean, in all of the other venues, you can hear a pin drop. And we know that's not the case at the US Open. I mean, you can't get somebody to even lower their voice, let alone stop talking. But it's really noticeable.
I agree, especially in Ash. There's just a hum in there that makes it even hard to have a conversation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's gotten louder and louder and louder every year. And I think actually, if Danny Zausner is listening, the more you pay for your seat, the more you feel entitled that you can talk as much and as and so okay. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I mean, I never saw it last year at the US Open. I never saw as many celebrities and famous people from the business world, from everywhere at the US Open. It is definitely the place that people want to be.
Let's close on that. We're going to be there, right? You can talking about celebrities you can run into at the Open. We're both going to be there. Valerie, thanks again for the
thanks, Barry.
preview.
We'll have to take a picture. So I can complete the Barry Slam with Barry.
Okay. Someday I hope to complete the Barry Slam. All right. That's a wrap. Thanks, Valerie.
Thanks. Have fun at the Open, everyone.